Welcome to the 28th episode of Vital Questions. As always, I'm your host, Che Guerrero with
La co-host.
This week's episode is a little different.
Mhm.
Usually we pick a topic, and we jump right in if you're a long-time listener. But if you're a first-time listener, it's going to seem a little like, oh, whatever. But today we're going to, instead of like taking one topic and diving deep into it, we're reviewing a few stories that we thought were interesting,
Mhm.
but needed more than the usual 2.5 minutes that we give stories on TikTok. If you're not following us already at Che Guerrero ENG on all platforms, including Substack, do it now. Pause this, go follow us. Okay, you're back. Great. So you saw all those stories that we did on there. They're 2.5 minutes, quick things. But these stories we felt today that we're gonna cover needed a little more than 2.5 minutes. So we're gonna just jump right into it. Like a host as always, great research, bringing us the knowledge.
Yeah. So actually, before I jump into the first topic,
Yeah.
I do want to acknowledge, because we haven't touched on it at all yet,
Oh.
but everything that's happening in Venezuela and the escalation of, I don't know, potential battle, war, like whatever you want to call it, with Latin American countries, but right now, particularly Venezuela, we do want to acknowledge that that's happening. It's not that we are trying to not pay attention to it. It's just that every single day things are developing, as we're all seeing, right? First it started with the boat strikes. Then most recently, I think they just took an oil rig or something from Venezuela.
Yeah, an oil tanker.
Yeah. So we're working in the background on researching, putting together an in-depth Vital Question episode. Ideally, that will be the next episode. So just keep a lookout for that. But I do want to just outright acknowledge it, because we haven't said anything either in our news reporting or in the podcast. So we are very aware that this is happening. We have a couple of guesses as to why it's happening, which we'll also get into in the next episode.
Oil. Okay. Sorry, that was one of my theories. I'm just throwing that out there quickly.
It's your ism that just came out.
Oil. I just oil all day
by happenstance, just casually. But yeah, so just wanted to throw that out there and acknowledge that is happening, and obviously we are having eyes on it, and we'll present it pretty soon.
Yeah.
So the first topic of today is Jasmine Crockett running for Senate. So it was a big one this week particularly. So just for context, today is Friday, December 12th, 2025. And just pulling from an ABC News article entitled "Rep. Jasmine Crockett Launches Senate Bid as Texas Politics Reels Over New Congressional Map." So if you don't already know who Jasmine Crockett is, she represents Texas' 30th Congressional District currently, and has been one of the main Democratic voices against Trump this year.
Yeah.
She was also adamantly against the gerrymandered Texas maps that came up earlier this year as well. She actually announced her run the last day to file for the 2026 primaries. Which is what part of what I think was not the controversy, but I think everyone was just like, oh crap, like this came last minute.
Yeah.
And we also, to preview, because of the setup of this episode, we've done some research, but it's not as in-depth as our normal episodes. But for this particular Senate race, because there's a lot of controversy already, and she just announced behind her Senate bid, we did want to have another future episode specific on Jasmine Crockett, James Tellerico, and what's his name, John Cornyn, who's a Republican.
Right.
Who's the incumbent. And essentially on this particular Senate race, because it is so controversial and there's a lot of big players in play, we want to spend a little more time later on to research, but we do want to touch on it because it's one of the main stories that kind of caught our attention that we didn't have time to really dig deep into, but definitely wanted to bring up.
So it was also because the backlash was so quick. For Jasmine Crockett. And listen, I know Jasmine Crockett mostly from the sound bites of, you big butch bitch, blonde bitch. She was more
big back. What was it?
Big blonde. You know what she told Marjorie?
Blonde, yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I've seen her passion when it comes to talking about the Trump administration, the lies, the anti-intellectualism. I've seen her speak up about Netanyahu, which is something we're gonna get into all that. So that's when she said, "I'm running for Senate." I thought that that it was going to be a heck yeah right away from everyone, jubilant at least.
Right.
But the backlash was quick.
Yeah.
Well, maybe in fact she's a Black woman has some stuff to do with how much people are okay giving her backlash so quickly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what's so interesting, that another creator pointed it out online, and I think a couple of people as well, that the whole her potential or non-potential affiliation with AIPAC and whether she supports Israel and all that stuff, like that's what the controversy is right now, because I think it's kind of understood that she's not accepting any AIPAC money and hasn't. But she has, based on her voting record, that's where the controversy has arisen, and also some comments that she's made in the past.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of things have been taken out of context, which again, that context I haven't had time to dive into yet. So I don't want to be like, oh yeah, it's this, it's that. No, from what I've seen so far and from the conversation online, that seems to be the center of the controversy, that she has said things in the past that seems to be in support of Israel and support of basically their continued actions in Palestine and against people in Gaza. But then there's also her voting record on certain bills that approved funding for Israel for different things. Now, actually, before let me see, because where is that coming up? Yeah. I'll guess I'll just like dive into that one. So we haven't had time to dive into it, but because there's a lot of great other creators online that have spent the time to look into it. We have Jolly Good Ginger, who's tagging also Booker Squared, a fan of both of those creators. So just want to kind of give them their flowers as well, because it seems like Jolly Good Ginger did some research already. And again, this is what he's been able to find. We'll do our own, but just want to share what we've seen so far. So this is coming from his Instagram post.
Thank you, Jolly.
For the National Security Supplemental back in April, which underwrote Israel's war effort.
I absolutely did vote for it. I voted for that along with every other supplemental that was available.
Good morning. I just woke up, so ignore my hair. This clip is going around the internet right now, and they're using it to call Jasmine Crockett a Zionist, but it didn't feel right to me. So I scoured the internet and I found the entire interview for some context. This interview happened in October 2024, last year, before the election. And here's the part they didn't show you.
When you look at Israel, I think it is important that people start to talk about the fact that the state of Israel versus their leadership. Because right now, or when I went to Israel, I know that the people were protesting Netanyahu because Netanyahu was reforming the courts. In addition to the fact that Netanyahu was under investigation along with people in his administration. Sound familiar?
Now, her entire answer is 1 minute and 11 seconds. But in the interest of keeping this video under 3 minutes, let me just summarize what she said. What she said is foreign aid shouldn't be totally dependent on the leader of a country because it harms the people of the country. Just like if Donald Trump wins the election, she wouldn't want people to deny foreign aid to America just because our leadership sucks. And why, might you ask, was that her answer? Because the votes that this guy is talking about is this vote right here, which is a foreign aid package to not just Israel, but also to Haiti and to Taiwan, and even aid supervision to Gaza. And in this aid package, it limits the weapons that Israel gets from this aid package to defensive weapons. And in the second vote that he could be talking about is this vote right here. It also limits the weapons that Israel can use to defensive weapons. And this vote was also part of an overall vote, which included support to Ukraine and other countries. You see, Jasmine Crockett explains in this interview that she has to consider diplomacy and all these other factors when she is making her vote because it includes aid to all the countries.
Thank you. Thank you, Jolly Ginger. That was a very wonderful, articulate overview of how listen, when we bring this stuff up, it's not to say you can't criticize Jasmine Crockett or whatever. It's to say, fine, we welcome criticism on this side. We welcome it. Bring the facts. And the thing that happens is that most people need to realize is that Republicans always put the bad policies wrapped around the good. So that it's always a streak of shit in an apple pie. And that's the problem, you know, because she was voting on aid to Ukraine, aid to a lot of other places, aid to Palestine as well, to the Palestinian people.
And also aid to, well, not aid, but international funding. I think it's important to also keep in mind what she said and what Jolly Good Ginger said about impacting the Israeli people. that a lot of them are against the war.
Yeah.
A lot of we've seen
Yeah.
videos of them protesting out there,
Mhm.
right? And we don't know the needs of whatever, right? Like, so there's another interplay in there where they both made it a point to acknowledge that we have to be conscious that limiting aid to a country also affects the people of that country
Yeah.
that may not actually be in line with the political views of their leaders.
Yeah. And the thing
Exhibit A is our current situation.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's actually this is crazy because people talk about this online all the time, but we send so much aid and funding to Israel
Mhm,
that's how a lot of their people have health insurance,
mhm.
and that's how a lot of people have college.
Right.
So what's crazy is that we don't offer that to our people,
Mhm.
but then we're offering to them. And I wouldn't want good people who are trying to go to school and do the right thing and maybe try to change politics
Yeah.
within their country to not have the aid to be able to eat. And you know what I mean?
But then it becomes the domino, right? Like, this is why, to everyone listening,
It's
this is
so
why
crazy.
we haven't done all the research yet on this issue, because it's so dense, right? But we did want to acknowledge that this is all happening,
Yeah.
because on your point that you just said, right? Like, yes, agreed. If it's people that are trying to go to college to do good and change things, all that, that's great. And to help them with the college process, cool. But we should be having that happening here
Exactly.
first and
How-
foremost, right? Because
Yeah.
America first, what happened to that?
Right?
Like-
They're going with another America first. which is
Apparently,
not
they're trying to
us.
build America first elsewhere, and then here.
Well, yeah, that's what it is.
And-
Actually, yeah,
right.
yeah. It is. That's why politics is so grimy.
Yeah.
It's so because you're hiding your shit behind all the good you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's not how it should work.
It's not. And that's why I also, again, I myself haven't looked into this. I primarily saw that video and I thought it was very well done.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't cross-checked. So assuming all the facts that he presented are facts and correct, it seems like it's very well done, right? It seems like certain sound bites were taken out of context.
Yeah.
It seems like people didn't look into the bills themselves, which is another thing that people should be conscious of. Don't only go off of headlines, really read articles and also read what the actual source material says.
Mhm.
What does the bill actually cover?
Mhm.
So I know some people are like concerned or don't think that they can read these drafts, these bills, because it seems really legal heavy. It's not that terrible if you actually read it. It's boring as hell for sure. But this is our like everyday life we're talking about. So for as boring as these documents may be, that's the source. That's actually what's telling you what's up for a debate, what's up for a vote. Now, if you really want to know what it is, go to the source itself.
Yeah, that's why they make it tough for you.
Exactly.
And that's what, even going back to the real quick to the Jolly Ginger video. You know, I just saw that clip that people have been using when she says Israel existed long before me, it will exist long after me, which is a true statement.
Yeah, that literally, if you sorry, go ahead.
But one thing is, like, I hadn't looked into it. I saw that clip, and this is why we decided to get into this topic. I didn't know that was from 2023.
Is that from the same interview?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's where it's like already from the beginning, people were making it seem like it was at her an announcement event, because the way it looks like it's like a political announcement event.
Right.
Her saying this as the first question into your
that's part of the
into your race.
misconceptions.
Yes.
Got it.
So that's where it's like,
oh, I did see that. The people are like, oh, she just announced that she's already coming out in support of blah, blah, blah.
That's where already that clip is out of context. Listen, I'm going to say this, and people need to check the date, because I have a video right now from 2023 where I am clipping Adam Sandler receiving the Mark Twain Award, and I go, Adam Sandler had a lot of great support, but Latinos, sometimes we come from immigrant families, we don't. So I'm championing all of you, and da-da-da-da. From 2 years ago, it got 40,000 views then. Now it's up to almost 200,000 views.
Jesus.
Because it went viral in the last 2 days, and people are like, you're so corny. Like, Adam Sandler's on top. I was like, this is from 2 years ago, you jerks. Check the date. Check the date.
No, we'll check everything.
Check the date is the first thing you should do.
Yeah.
When was this published? Oh, this is a video from 2023. This doesn't matter today. Well, at least not in this context.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the whole premise of our show. That's the whole premise of this podcast, literally to ask vital questions. Part of that is, when did this come out? Is this AI? Is this legitimate? What's the context of this one soundbite that I'm listening to?
Yeah.
And again, I will reiterate, we haven't done our own research other than what we've seen online on Jasmine Crockett and her position. So far, from what I've seen, I'm a fan of her. I haven't seen anything that seems too crazy. the whole, Israel has existed before me and it will exist after me, it's literally facts. She's not saying anything other than that.
I support Israel.
Correct.
She didn't say I support Israel. You know, that
Correct.
phrase.
It would
like,
be,
say you support Israel's right to
right.
exist. It's like Israel's been here before me and it'll most likely exist after me, because the way politics are,
that's what it is, right?
It's a statement.
And
that is
people also
facts.
need to remember that at the end of the day, she's a politician. And yes, we don't want to keep
in Texas,
right? We don't want to we want to hold politicians accountable for sure. But what is everyone's long-term strategy? I'm talking to voters. I'm talking to everyone that's being critical of her. What is your long-term strategy in all this? For Texas, for example, let's talk about who else do we have in the running?
Because there are options.
Because there's options, right?
And guess what? It's too late to sign up for the primaries. But if you don't like Jasmine Crockett, you're like, you should have ran.
Yeah, exactly.
We would love to showcase.
Right.
Mamdani was a dark horse.
Yeah.
We would love to showcase a dark horse.
Right. And if we have someone else who's in the running as well. We have James Tellerico, who I think that you mentioned, like, you've heard his name, but you weren't.
You know what's funny? I didn't even know his name. I just know him as like the Woody doll that's always very Christian. So that's in my head. I'm like, oh, the Woody doll.
Yeah. Well, he has gained a lot of national notoriety because the videos that I've seen have been really positive from him before.
Yes.
I dug a little bit on this topic. But yeah, the videos I see where he mentions his Christian beliefs, his religion is really important to him, but he acknowledges there needs to be a separation between religion and government. Like that's one of the pillars of what the US government was founded on. So what are we even talking about, right? Like, he is a supporter of LGBTQ rights, I believe. He's seems to be really supportive of minority rights, seems to be supportive of women's rights, right? Like, but
I was gonna say he pays great Christian lip service. Is that where we're getting at?
Well,
because there's no love like Christian love.
Well, so apparently he has ties with this woman, Miriam Adelson. I don't know if that name sounds familiar to you.
Doesn't.
But just pulling from a political article entitled "Dem Darling Showered with Miriam Adelson Linked Money." So just reading off of what we have highlighted here from the political article, quote, "A group funded by Adelson was the biggest donor to James Tellerico's campaign last year. Texas Democrat James Tellerico has built a national profile railing against GOP billionaires in politics, but has quietly accepted funds from a PAC backed by one of the wealthiest donors in the Republican Party. The single biggest donor to Tellerico's state house re-election bid last year was a group funded by casino mogul Miriam Adelson, according to state campaign finance data." Let's continue on the article. So the article continues, "Adelson, the widow of late Republican mega donor Sheldon Adelson, is one of President Donald Trump's largest financial supporters and seen as a boogeyman by much of the left. Tellerico is now considering," this was before he actually put his bid in, "was a run for Senate, which would test whether such ties are a vulnerability at a time when liberal voters say they want Democrats to aggressively take on Trump. Tellerico received a total of $59,000 from the Texas Sands PAC through donations in February and December 2024, according to finance records." So there's that.
Okay. So we here on Jasmine Crockett, who has no
financial ties
to AIPAC. Right?
But just said one statement that was taken out of context.
Right?
Again, but hold on, caveat, we haven't done the research ourselves from what we've seen. Go ahead.
Okay. But we got a white man, a Christian white man, taking money from a GOP essential
donor. Like one of the biggest Republican donors. Yeah.
So he's secretly in bed.
I don't know about secretly, but yeah.
With a Republican donor. And here is Jasmine Crockett, nothing public with her with AIPAC that we know of like that. And look at the layers that's being built around her already. And he's totally cool chilling with Adderall over there. Adnol. What is it?
Adelson.
Adelson, that's it. Sorry, he wasn't showing Adderall. Let me not put that out. Adelson.
Adderall.
You see?
No, I know. Yeah.
I'm saying criticize them both, but Dios mío.
No, but the weight that's being and that's what it is. I think that unfortunately, because Crockett has been such a great big voice for us, and has been one of the few people who's been throughout the time that Trump has been in power beforehand. She's always been about it. She's always been down to
calling them a fascist.
Yeah, exactly. Calling it for what it is when people were too scared to do that. So I would just caution everyone to, again, when you hear negative rhetoric out of nowhere for context, right? Because again, as we heard, that interview was from 2024 before the election. Why the hell was no one talking crap about her before then? Right? Why all of a sudden y'all are picking and choosing sound bites that fit a narrative? Again, that is from what I've seen.
I don't know.
I do want to throw it out there for everyone, because I've seen in people's comments, you know, on Jolly Good Ginger's comments, on Burger Squared, on a bunch of different creators' comments, talking about this issue, where a lot of people are, from what I've seen, correctly supporting Jasmine Crockett. A lot of people in the comments, no, she supports she does this, with, again, no proof of anything. Y'all know y'all can leave links to stuff, right?
Leave links.
If you want to act like you know what you're talking about, show your proof. And I welcome that in our comments as well. Please show your proof of what's your basis for talking crap about any which person, anybody.
And you know what's crazy? Like, going back to the Jasmine Crockett clip that was from last year, but it was used to make it seem like it was this year. Man, I don't know if it's AI or what the hell is in the water in right-wing circles, but they know how to clip moments that can fool the brain into thinking it is something that they want you to think.
Right.
Like the fact that they were able to pull a clip where it looks like it was end of a rally, and she had just announced.
Right.
And this clip was used to say, look, her first announcement, public.
Her first statement.
Make it seem like her first statement is, I am in support of Israel. That wasn't her first statement.
Yeah, and that wasn't even what she was necessarily saying.
And that, but the way, like,
it's
and going back
editing,
to my videos, the way sometimes my videos are used and clipped to spread, I'm like, how do you do that? Because I work so hard on telling the truth. That is amazing how you work so hard on selling me a story that is not real. Diddy Doc, watch it. Sorry, I'm not giving 50 any kind of credit here. He also has his own problems, but that Diddy Doc can show you how a storyteller gets away with lying to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh wait, so that wasn't all on Tellerico?
No, let's keep going to Tellerico, because
no, there's another. You can like quickly Google it, and it takes 2 seconds.
Bring it up for a second.
No, I'm not. No, it's fine. We have a lot to get through. I just want to move past this because we haven't even gotten to the Republican candidate, because that's you know,
you see how they make us fight.
Anyways. Jesus. So in addition to the, you know, I don't know, interesting money funding, he apparently also has other controversy because he follows porn stars on social media and also women on OnlyFans. I refuse to call those women models, because get over yourselves. No, you're just on OnlyFans. They'd be like OnlyFans model. Let's stop.
To each their own.
What does that mean?
Whoever calls themselves, like some people, I'm just saying.
Not you.
No, I'm just saying some people will not call me a comedian. They'll be like, oh, you're not funny. You know that? Listen, if people want to be delusional, call themselves models on there. Call yourself a model. That's all I'm saying. If you want to be delusional, because you have to sometimes believe in yourself. That's all I'm saying. I'm just believing in.
We'll move on.
Okay, we'll move on.
Anyways, yeah, that's his other, you know, seems like some people are in support of OnlyFans models, but whatever.
I'm supportive of anybody called like, hey, this is what the title you chose. All right, you know, we all have to be a little delusional from time to time.
So the Republican candidate for this Texas Senate seat is, well, one of them is the incumbent Senator John Cornyn. So he's actually also facing some contention for his bid on the Republican side. He's being challenged by State Attorney General Ken Paxton and U.S. Representative Wesley Hunt.
Whoa, Ken Paxton is in for the primaries?
For, the Republican seat.
Oh, guys, if you think Cornyn is bad, you should see what Ken Paxton has been doing in that state to appease Abbott. These, I don't know who Hurt is, the last one, but already the top two choices are shit.
Yeah, and so just for the sake of expediency, I focused on Cornyn for this because he's the incumbent, and a lot of times that tends to be who wins a lot of things. Right?
Honestly, just real quick, if after the primaries, you'll see Ken Paxton might have a shot.
Oh, great.
Ken Paxton might have a shot.
Well, we'll see what happens. So on John Cornyn, who holds the current Senate seat, just a quick little couple tidbits about him. So literally straight from his page and his website, he is clearly a big supporter of Trump, right? He had a whole statement put out when he won. And if you want to talk about AIPAC, looking up who has pro-Israel money, this is from Open Secrets, looking at pro-Israel recipients. He has received $488,929. from pro-Israel
Yeah.
kind of PACs. And
$500,000.
$500,000. So if you really want to talk about being concerned about that.
Jesus.
And scrolling along, he also is in support of the AI boom that is destroying communities left and right. If
In
you're not
Texas.
sure of the details that we're talking, just not only Texas, just across the country, but yes, in Texas. If you're not sure of how terrible AI is and all the detrimental effects, look at our Vital Questions episode on AI.
Yeah.
But
And I don't know if we covered this, but Texas, real quick, their AI boom is causing a huge problem with their water supply.
Yeah, I'm getting to it now.
Great. Let's go.
Anyways, if we look at the CBS News article entitled Google's $40 billion investment in Texas to boost AI, cloud, and energy infrastructure, it has a quote from U.S. Senator John Cornyn. He said, from our commitment to cutting red tape and fostering innovation to our talented workforce, there is no better place to do business than the Lone Star State, Cornyn said. I look forward to seeing Google's positive impact on our state for years to come. So in case you didn't remember or didn't know, to your point, looking at a Texas Tribune article, data centers are thirsty for Texas water, but state planners don't know how much they will need. So it's pretty well known that AI data centers use a lot of water to keep the centers cool, right? So like to cool them down, and then also just literally to keep things running.
Yeah.
Right. So keeping in mind that Texas already has, I don't even know how many heat waves during the summer. We have climate change issues. We have just diminishing water
floods.
Right. We have floods, and it's just kind of like swings back and forth. I just don't see how it's a good idea to be welcoming and trying to remove the quote unquote red tape to more and more AI data centers. And how could this possibly be good for a state that has already kind of increasingly limited water supply?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm sorry if you're going to cover this, excuse me, but I don't know if you know that they're buying water from other, excuse me, I zoomed in accidentally, that they're buying water from other states.
Texas is?
Yeah.
I did not have that, no.
Yeah. So this is also something that like is it's such a big problem and also so evil, is that Texas doesn't have a lot of water to run these centers. So states sell water to each other. So now the state of Texas is using taxpayer money to buy water to bring it in for Google.
Jesus.
So it's like, what are we doing here?
And and that's what people don't realize. Like when they see their high water bill and electricity bill, they're just like, oh, why is this happening? Oh, it must be. No, we're funding tech companies and this stupid AI boom that's actually destroying everything around us without you even realizing it. Again, go watch that Vital Questions episode. But that's what we're funding. We're funding our own destruction, y'all.
And it's insane. Again, I think we've already covered this. Go back to listen to the past episodes. That I am shocked that people are not outraged that their bills doubled. Their electric bill or their water bill is going up 2 or 3 times around the country.
And it's not because you're using more.
No, it's because these AI companies are passing on their bills to you.
Yeah.
My God, Republicans, how much are you going to let these rich people whip you?
Right.
Hate you, take from you, abuse you.
And
then you have the caucasity to blame immigrants?
Yeah, because it's easier.
Please.
It's easier that way than realize that they got played. That's why. It's easier to blame someone else than let your ego realize that you were dumb enough to fall for it. It's easier to find a scapegoat than acknowledge that you're a dumbass.
Yeah.
Like you just fell for the game that everyone was trying to warn you about. So rather than acknowledge, oh, I was wrong, and literally try to, I don't know, end the destruction that's happening around us, you're just going to sit and be like, no, it's a minority's fault. The people that are struggling. Yep, it's definitely their fault.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure.
Intellectualism is really being attacked, and I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
I like thinking. I got a good brain.
So going back to the article, this was the same Texas Tribune article. Just reading from it a little bit, Texas is building dozens of massive data centers, some as large as New York Central Park. And experts say they're expected to guzzle millions of gallons of water a year in a state facing increasingly urgent water crisis. Going on to the same article, next slide, how data centers use water. So in case you didn't know, data centers use water in two main ways: directly to cool their equipment, and indirectly through the electricity they rely on.
Mhm.
The current Texas data center market requires 10,234 megawatts of electricity a year, which is equivalent to more than 8 million homes usage a month, according to the research firm Baxel, blah, blah, blah. Data centers are expected to help drive Texas power demand to nearly double by 2030. Electricity generation also requires water, particularly to cool the natural gas, coal, and nuclear power plants that generate most of the state's electricity. That means the more electricity a data center uses, the more water is indirectly consumed.
Wow, man. So, like, I don't know what the exact number of data centers is. Let's say maybe it's 20 or 30. Well, maybe that might be kind of high, might be kind of low. I don't know. Let's name it at 20. The fact that they used the amount of energy and water consumed by 8 million homes. Come
In a month.
in a month?
Yeah, about 8 million homes in a month. Yeah.
Come on. Oh my God, you let rich people take and take and take, and you do nothing to stop them. Holy crap.
But they don't.
Stop blaming brown people for your shit. Look at this one report.
But that's the thing. They don't realize it. And again, there's a reason why they love the uneducated, right? So in case that wasn't bad enough, do you remember that blackout in Texas that killed a bunch of people? Yeah, do we think that might happen again, considering the amount of electricity that these different data centers are using up?
That was this year.
No. That was back in February 2021. So
thank goodness.
as
Okay,
a reminder,
yes,
just
excuse me,
pulling up
see?
an NPR article 4 years ago, right? So this is what 4 years after
After Delhi blackout.
Yeah, so
right.
it's 4 years
Because the
ago.
date says this, but it's 4 years after
That's
the
why
Delhi
we-
blackout. That's why we read.
So the article is titled 4 years after deadly blackout, doubts remain over reliability of Texas's power grid.
Right.
This is dated February 14th, 2025. So this just kind of goes into a reminder of the winter blackout that happened in February 2021 in Texas, where there was at least 246 people that died due to the winter storms and the blackout. So given the additional energy strain from these data centers, unless Texas has someone who's going to fight for it, the energy crisis is likely going to get worse. So again, who do you think is more likely to fight for your rights when it comes to this? Is it going to be a Republican or is it going to be a Democrat? Is it going to be a Republican that has been siding with the GOP and this administration all year long? Or is it going to be a Democrat that's been adamantly vocal and a fighter against this administration and all these tech companies and calling out these different tech bros that often stand behind our current president? Let's take a wild guess.
Yeah.
Again, I ask everyone, what is your long-term plan? I understand that these issues are very important. I understand that the ongoing war that's happening in Gaza actually, no, scratch that. I don't understand because I can't even begin to imagine. I fortunately, personally, have not been personally affected, but I am a human and can empathize with innocent people being decimated. And that is insane.
Yeah.
So for as much as that is also true, let's take a look around our current surroundings.
Yeah.
And what is for everyone that's like, I'm not going to vote for Crockett because of this. And I'm not going to vote for Tellerico because of this. I'm not going to vote for Democrat because Democrats have been spitting in our faces, whatever. Cool. That's your decision. You know what a lot of also people did in the last 2024 election also did that. They were like, all these politicians aren't crap. I'm going to be, it's not an anarchist. It's a,
yeah, essentially anarchist.
Like, I'm going to just completely remove myself from this.
Nihilist kind of thing.
Nihilist, yeah. And I'm just going to remove myself from this.
And that's what they want. They want you to like, they're both equally the same. I'm like, Jasmine Crockett is not John Cornyn or Ken Paxton, people.
It's not like Texas. Look around you. Look at the things that have been happening. Wait, look at the battleground that your state has become against these Nazi agents that are out there just kidnapping people. Yeah. Your current government is allowing that.
Yeah.
Again, do you want any of that to change? So let's start thinking strategically and long-term here.
And that's something that, like, I know, during the last election, I wasn't outright vocal telling my, the fans, hey, vote for Kamala, because I wanted people to make their educated decision. But I personally, towards the last 2 weeks, I decided, you know what, I am going to try and create content to see if I can move people towards Kamala. And people were telling me, you don't care about the people of Palestine. And I was like, honestly, I am actually supporting Kamala because I care about the people of Palestine, because I know that with a Trump administration, he is going to make things worse. He's going to let Netanyahu do whatever he wants. He is going to starve people. And I feel like with Kamala, more lives will be saved. Some sort of pushback It might not be all we want, but I'm looking at how many lives can be saved.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw way more destruction with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And people called me stupid.
Mm-hmm.
People called me ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And my theory was Kamala is a stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
We vote for Kamala now and we get rid of Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And the next election, Kamala, and also I said this and people didn't believe me. If Kamala's in office, we can galvanize a lot more.
Yeah.
We can be stronger.
Yeah.
We can create organizations, create groups, because those are the people who push politicians behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
We can do a lot more to get the policies passed locally and nationally. And people are like, you're ridiculous. And I was like, well, with Trump, you're not going to get any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you're ridiculous. And look what's happening.
Yeah.
Yes, we march. Yes, we go out there, but he doesn't listen. He doesn't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to take away our groups, our things by calling us Antifa.
Mm-hmm.
So what I say is with Jasmine, we have a chance to continue the fight.
Yeah.
We have a chance to bring our grievances to someone who I feel like will listen.
Yeah.
And the more politicians we vote in that are
Will
like
listen.
her and
Yeah.
will listen, the more the culture within that place changes.
Yeah.
And I sure people go, you can't change the government. But we
Not
have
overnight.
but we have to use every tool at our disposal. Voting, politics, galvanizing, community. It's
Mhm.
not one or the other.
Right. And it's continuous throughout. It's not that when and if and hopefully the tide turns and the blue wave keeps coming and hopefully we have some semblance of a functioning society and a functioning government. We continue the fight then. You continue to try to push for these same issues that we're
Mhm.
talking about now. But the thing is about voting in people who will give you a shot at it.
Yeah.
Who will give you a shot to speak. Who you don't have to worry about now going potentially to marches because you might have facial recognition technology that was not a thing before this year
Mhm.
at protests.
Mhm.
Right? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah. We
Like,
can't
literally
normalize
be
this.
objective.
Yeah. We have to really rein this back.
Let's
with the
look
new
around,
administration.
right?
Putting laws
Because
in place where they can't do this.
exactly. Like,
Local laws where you need senators and
right.
members for that.
You need to have people at the various level of government who are actually going to fight for you,
Mhm.
who are actually going to give you a shot to speak, to be out there, to try to advocate for the right thing. If you're too busy being scared of opening the door because an ICE agent might, I don't know, misconstrue who you are and just kidnap you, yeah, I'm gonna guess you're not gonna be going for other out there and trying to protest. And it's just, I don't understand what everyone's long-term plan is if you're not thinking this way. If you're not thinking
Of all your strategies.
strategically,
All of them.
if you're not thinking, okay, out of the options that I have available to me, who is the candidate that's most likely going to be, to your point, a stepping stone or a next step towards progress? Because again, things are not going to happen overnight.
I keep going back to Roe v. Wade.
Mhm.
When it was made the law of the land back in the 60s, Republicans went, I'm going to knock this down. And they waited 60 years
Mhm.
by every election cycle, voting someone a little more radical, a little more radical, a little more radical, until 6 years later, ta-da, Trump comes around and literally takes away all 60 years of progress in one foul swoop.
Exactly.
We could do that. We could pull somebody in 3 election cycles that would absolutely decimate everything Trump's done.
Exactly.
Stepping stones. Change
And
the culture
so
everywhere you're at.
again, we are not trying to advocate to support people who are trying to promote the continued genocide that is happening in Gaza by any means. That is not what's happening here. What's happening here is that we're encouraging everyone to think, what is the long-term plan? To not be short-sighted in the way a lot of people were this last election cycle by being like, oh, I'm not going to vote because they didn't give us the shot to vote in a new Democratic candidate. You're right. You're not wrong. I'm not saying you're not
wrong.
But it is what it is, right? You live in the society that you live in. We are all here. It is what it is. So you have to vote because if not, things are going to get worse.
You have to make a good
So you
choice.
have to make a good choice.
Whatever.
And the good choice, I can tell you for a matter of fact, is not going to be the guy who calls the left's crusade against immigration enforcement a thing. It's not going to be the guy who's in favor of the Nazis that are out in the streets. It's not going to be the Republican, okay? And sure, maybe Crockett isn't saying everything you want her to say, but is she going to give you a shot in hell to have some semblance of a normal society? Probably.
A better one.
Because what's
a
gonna
little
happen-
better because she's also not old school leftist.
No,
old school liberals that are just like, let's things be kind of Democrat. No, she also has ideas where she wants to push.
Yeah. So let's be strategic and not let the same thing that happened this past election cycle where people are going to be like, I'm not going to vote. or I'm going to vote for a candidate like I already forgot who the working party candidate was, who like just disappeared after that, but whatever. But
Jill Stein?
Yeah, who's going to vote for or an independent
The
or
Green Party.
Yeah, or a different candidate. Meanwhile, that's a waste of a vote. It is what it like. That's just also facts.
Yeah.
Like, I understand being upset about things, and rightfully so, but that is just the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
That if we start playing games with these different votes, it's not going to work out.
And then, if you vote somebody like, more politicians that you like, you could also change it to ranked choice voting, where you could put your first, second, third, and that seems a little more fair across the board.
Yeah.
With the primaries.
Exactly. So again, we will revisit this as we have time to dig deeper into Crockett. Hopefully she'll come out with more statements that clarify her stance on things, and that way we can move past, unnecessary conversations that we need to be focusing on our actual candidates and how they've been moving and what the future looks like with them. So so we're going to make a pivot into our second subject, which is drastically different. And admittedly not something we usually cover, but it is something that's just been kind of everywhere. And we just thought it was really interesting how some MAGA celebrities are finding out that it does not pay to align yourself with MAGA or their views.
Literally doesn't pay. You're literally losing money.
Yeah. So Exhibit A is, not surprisingly, Sydney Sweeney. So she's been making headlines for a while now, right? For way before recently, actually. There was pictures that came out showing them here from a family party that she had, or I guess attended, where there was a bunch of MAGA people there. Now, although she denied being affiliated with them from these pictures, she did later register as a Republican in Florida just a few months before this last election, as reported by The Guardian here in this article.
Oh, no.
Like, look at that. Wow. Surprise, surprise.
And by the way, there weren't just any party guests. I think her mom was one of those Make America Great Again hat wearers.
Well, so I saw one article where she was like, oh, no, they were just saying that as a joke because of something or other. And I was like, okay, sis, sure.
Okay. I'm never at a party where somebody is saying "Make America Great Again" even as a joke.
Exactly. So maybe figure out who you're,
Yeah, get better writers.
But yeah, so just looking at this Guardian article, Sydney Sweeney's Republican voter registration revealed amid Jean's ad controversy. So she did again register as a Republican just a few months late last year. And then there was, of course, the American Eagle ad, which was huge, right? So just
hugely controversial. It was
huge. I meant hugely controversial.
Yeah,
I was just reading ahead.
It
was huge in that in the controversy it became a huge ad.
It became a huge ad because of the controversy.
So I'm still correct.
No, I'm not even saying. Okay. I'll run out of gas there.
And we're done. And that's it. So speaking of said ad, let's share that here.
Oh, you can bring it up. Sorry.
What happened?
My bad. Let's go.
So this is what I also want to flag for everyone is that this is actually one of the ads that a lot of people don't talk about because the whole premise of, they meant the jeans, they meant the pants themselves. Okay, so here's American Eagle's Instagram, right? American Eagle. 20 weeks ago, we posted this. Okay.
And it's still on their page.
Right? So clearly we want to stand by this. And what does that say? Sydney Sweeney has great genes, spelled Genes. Let's play it.
Sydney Sweeney has great genes.
Yeah. If you didn't want to, I don't know, like refer to eugenics and give people that illusion of like we're talking about actual genetics, then maybe don't use the word in the ad because it becomes significantly harder for you to claim, oh no, that's not what we meant when it literally said it in the ad. So because of that, let's just really quick talk about what the hell eugenics is, right? Because I feel like this is another phrase that people just throw around. It's like, that's not what she's talking about. Do you know what eugenics is? Did you look it up? Because odds are you probably didn't. So looking at the National Human Genome Research Institute's article on eugenics and scientific racism, because there is studies on this. So just reading from the article really quick, eugenics is the scientifically inaccurate theory that humans can be improved through selective breeding of populations. Eugenicists believed in a prejudiced and incorrect understanding that Mendelian genetics that claimed abstract human qualities, e.g. intelligence and social behaviors, were inherited in a simple fashion. Similarly, they believed complex diseases and disorders were solely the outcome of genetic inheritance. So I encourage everyone to, feel free to do your own research on it. But that's why everyone was talking about eugenics, because by referring to her genes, and this is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman, it's pretty clear cut. We're going back to like Nazi Germany and like those beliefs, right? So
there's if I may, there is a great book that I will admit I only read the half of because I got to get back to it, but it's called The Guarded Gate, and it is about how the pseudoscience of eugenics was used to remake our immigration laws in the 1920s and 30s. This is the time where a lot of Jewish immigrants from Poland were coming in, Italian people, as the United States called them, undesirables. And The Guarded Gate does a fantastic job of explaining the history between that pseudoscience and immigration reform. That there were senators, congressmen bringing these pseudo reports saying if we let in more Italians, our intelligence is going to drop by 40 points. If we let in more Jewish people, our height will go down by 3% in the next decade or whatever. Basically trying to imply that by letting these people in, you are
messing up our population.
Messing up or our pure blood. That's where Hitler got a lot of that from. And that's where a lot of people don't realize that the eugenics movement, a lot of these sciences, there were universities in Massachusetts that were dedicated to this science, were put into books, and then Hitler got a hold of them. Hitler got U.S. manuscripts of how eugenics works, and that's how he was like, we are the Ubermen, the supermen. So, yeah, this isn't just some passing, oh, I have great genes, oh, you guys are making a big deal out of it. No, this was an ideology that still very much exists, even our immigration system. The way people think of immigration right now is they think that the blood of America has been poisoned.
And that's the big part. That's the element that people are kind of not putting together, that given the current political climate, given what we've seen this year, given the demonizations of minorities and everyone who is not basically blonde-haired, blue-eyed, you to then come out with something like this, to include the word genes, Genes, as we saw already, and also not for nothing, to leave that up there still. You're saying statements.
Yeah.
And I don't know who your PR team is, but people should be fired. Someone should be fired.
Well, we'll get into it, but she wanted this.
No. I'm not talking about her.
Oh.
I'm talking about someone from American Eagles team.
Well, here's the thing now.
Because not for nothing, my corporate lawyer hat is on, and I'm just like, who cleared this? Who's dumb at, and this is where diversity, DEI can come in and potentially save your brand, corporate teams. Maybe this is why you shouldn't be dismantling shit left and right.
That is very true. I don't know the answer to this, but I believe, this was 20 weeks ago. 20 weeks ago was a very different world where a lot of races were very much like, yo, we here, we loud, and we proud. And I'm sure American Eagle had a lot of quiet races that they were like, yo, now we get to make the ad that we want. We've always wanted to do this. That's pushing. Like they tapped into their own worst instinct, and this is their fucking fault.
But that's my point. That's my whoever it was, and this is why that's the whole premise of this section of the episode, right? That aligning yourself with MAGA values does not pay.
Exactly.
Right? Hopefully, whoever ideas this was got fired.
Nah.
Because you don't know. But it is kind of ridiculous to have presented this, and even if you are racist, it's just a dumb business move. Take it from the corporate lawyer. That was a dumbass business move. Even if your leadership is all racist, you still need to appeal to the broader audience. That was dumb as hell.
We're getting into that, but I think they're just finding that out now.
And that's why you need to have diverse people on your team.
And we're going to get into this. All these MAGA people, and I know we're going to talk a lot about women, and there are a lot of things, but these MAGA people and companies thought they had enough. They thought that more MAGA people were going to come out of the woodworks. They thought that switching to this kind of thing was actually a bigger profit margin. They actually believe this. But fuck, are they wrong? Let's go.
Love seeing them be wrong. So after the advertisement came out and there was all that backlash, she kind of stood her ground, and not most recently, but not that long ago, had a GQ interview that also made some headlines. So actually, let's move this and okay, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Let's see. So this is pulling up. This is from Courier Newsroom, but this is a clip from the GQ interview that we were talking about,
which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
Okay. I first of all, I got to give credit to like the interviewer. I know people were like, "Why are you trying to be all buddy with her and stuff like that?" I think the interviewer was trying to meet Sydney Sweeney where she's at.
Yeah.
Like, hey girl,
That's exactly what that was.
with those racist ads, homie?
That's exactly what it was.
I don't talk about him when I want to. Girl, I totally get it. But if you want to dish with me,
this would be a good time.
Be a good time. And that's what it is. She knows she's not dumb. She's like, if there's something I want to speak on, I will. That was a few weeks ago. And then what happens?
So then after that interview where she clearly had a very obvious green light to address white supremacy, but chose not to, interestingly, again, who knows if there's some correlation, but interestingly, she then came out with a movie entitled Christy, which was a biographical sports drama about Christy Martin, who was a pioneer in the boxing world and dealt with domestic abuse and sexual identity issues because Christy was a lesbian. So you have this MAGA-ish celebrity portray a lesbian boxer who made incredible strides in the boxing world and expect that to do well. Yeah, so it didn't. So the film,
surprise.
So the film opened to 1.3 million its first weekend. And this is a quote from, what was this article again? This is a quote from The Guardian, right? Where it says, making for one of the worst US starts ever for a moving opening in more than 2,000 theaters. So it's even more ridiculous, actually. So not only did the movie do terribly, but then I'm assuming that this was just kind of already in the works. So this is a Sports Illustrated cover that then came out with Sydney Sweeney and the actual woman, Christy Martin. Which I think was a PR stunt at this point, right? To kind of show that Christy supported Sweeney and they're in, but no, it just.
I also would, I don't,
yeah. Like who?
What do you want me to say? Do you want MAGA to be cool with that? Or you want me to be cool with that? Because, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Like who's going to actually be fine with this?
Yeah.
And then this is petty, but I just thought it was really funny. So a bunch of people also were just like, when she came on Jimmy Fallon looking like this, we're like, oh, so she's primetime MAGA.
Yeah.
Like they're like, she's
all red.
Yeah. And not only that, between the bob and the face, everyone's just like, she's morphing into a MAGA trad wife. That it kind of looks like that.
Yeah, she looks like Caroline Levitt a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's also rumors that Zendaya refuses to do press with her for the upcoming the new Euphoria season. This is from IMDb. Zendaya reportedly snubbed Sydney Sweeney, joined interviews on red carpet moments for Euphoria promo due to bitter feud. Here's what happened. So I have seen it primarily on like gossip sites, right? So it hasn't been formally, but I do think that I wouldn't be surprised, especially considering who Zendaya is as a person.
Yeah.
And has been an advocate for a lot of like great positions, and I can't even imagine her trying to associate with someone like that.
Yes, doesn't need to,
and doesn't need to because she's freaking Zendaya. So
Zendaya, dude, Dune,
Dune, and everything else,
everything Zendaya.
So because of all this, that's probably why now she's kind of on an apology tour. So now everyone's talking about this People interview that she did, where she basically is trying to come out and be like, I'm against hate. I'm actually a good person, even though I had the opportunity to talk about it before. But once I saw numbers, that's when I needed to come out. So in this People article, and I know this isn't our normal content, but it is kind of fun. Huh?
It is. You know what? We wanted you guys to kind of see that there are repercussions for their actions. There might not be legal.
Not yet.
But societal, there are ramifications for being a fascist or fascist adjacent.
Exactly. For aligning or not even, or for not speaking out on blatant white supremacy
when
issues.
It's in your face.
When given the silver platter by that reporter that was way too kind, I agree. But
girl, what do you think about racism?
She was basically trying to literally just give her the space. Like that could not have been done nicer. You could not have had a better silver platter of a moment. Yeah, you were still like, when I want to talk about something, people will know. So now she's talking. Wait, no, don't take it away.
Go, let's go. Yeah. So
now she's talking and said, quote, I was honestly surprised by the reaction talking about the American Eagle ad. Sweeney tells people, I did it because I love the jeans and I love the brand. I don't support views some people chose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. Yeah, right. She goes on to say, anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but recently, I've come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us. You know what she didn't say? That she's not MAGA, that she's against white supremacy, that she is, like what? You said a whole lot of nothing per usual, yet.
Hold on, let me take a spin on at that answer. I can't spin all the way here. But listen, this is why we need to read. This is why we need to read, because the way it was presented, it was being presented like she apologized.
She did not even apologize.
She didn't apologize. She gaslit us. She goes, oh, she essentially did the whole, oh, I didn't know y'all were going to get so upset at this ad that is Nazi coded that you guys are putting into it. You changed jeans to jeans. Okay. So if y'all are so upset at me over this ad, just know that I am totally not for hate. Yeah, man, I'm not for hate either. Like, you didn't say anything.
She literally didn't say anything.
I hope you have a good rest of your year. Again, white people can do this. This is her trying to fix her image by gaslighting us. Dude, this is why nobody came to see your movie. Because I go back to, there are more of us than there are of them. They will never make enough money. They will never get enough votes. They will never move forward unless they keep dividing us.
Exactly.
And at least in movies, we're like, no, I want to see a movie with a good plot and somebody who isn't MAGA portraying a lesbian.
Right. Like it couldn't be more clear cut. But again, I think that was a bad. If someone,
and those jeans didn't sell.
Right. If someone was if someone in like artists or whatever for that movie would have recognized, oh no, this person has some negative ties to them, potential ties to the Republican Party, potential ties to conservative views, maybe this wouldn't be a good casting idea for a lesbian boxer who is a major deal in the boxing world.
We're a lot more aware as consumers of what we're consuming. We know the trans fat that's in there now.
Exactly. So she's not the only person that's been feeling the effects of being aligned with MAGA views. So Kristin Chenoweth has also been making headlines. In case you didn't know, because candidly, I didn't know until you told me, because I don't really care about this woman, but all good.
But there's another domino effect of MAGA. And by the way, I think we just glossed over. We are talking about a lot of women, and it's unfortunately, women always get it much harsher. And I'm not trying to give these MAGA women any kind of space like that, but you see that there is a price to pay.
Yeah.
For aligning yourself this way.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Oh no, yeah, no.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, no, and there is something to be said about that, right? Like we can have a whole episode on just gender dynamics and the fact that women feel the effects of their views more than men, because men tend to get a lot more leeway in society for a lot of different reasons, right? Misogyny, all that stuff, whatever. We can look at people like, for example, Snoop Dogg and Nelly, who performed for Trump and his team, and basically got no real backlash from the culture, right?
Yeah.
Because I've seen Snoop's post recently, and I've seen the comments on there, and everyone's still like, Uncle Snoop, whatever.
Yeah.
As if you didn't dance for the fucking people who are literally just kidnapping and killing all of us.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to promote hate towards Black men. Never will, never would.
No.
But
we're talking about MAGA.
We're talking about MAGA celebrities.
No, even look at what's his name, Mario Lopez. He's a MAGA celebrity. He's still very much every time I go to hotels, like, welcome to the Hilton. I'm like, shut up, Mario Lopez, you're MAGA.
But
so maybe his views I've heard at hotel lobbies because I don't watch it.
Right, exactly. So we do want to acknowledge that like, unfortunately, I guess unfortunately is a weird word in the context. But it is
the wave starts with the women.
It is true that like men don't get the same kind of ramifications that women do for their political views, and that's something to be said about that, right? But going back to another white lady, Kristin Chenoweth. So I didn't know that she even had a Broadway show out there, but whatever. So this Deadline article entitled "Broadway's quote the Queen of Versailles to close even earlier than expected due to quote harsh economic realities." Dated December 9th, 2025. So this is about Kristin Chenoweth's Broadway show, which is closing early. So just reading off of the highlighted language here, The Queen of Versailles, the new and soon to close Broadway musical starring Kristin Chenoweth, and F. Murray Abraham will shut its doors even earlier than previously announced. Producers informed the cast today that rather than close January 4th,
Jeez.
the show will play its final performance on Sunday, December 21st.
Mhm.
Quote, unfortunately, the harsh economic realities of new Broadway musicals in a post-COVID landscape have caught up to us with us. The note from producers obtained by Deadline states in the part. Quote, the industry as a whole is no longer seeing the audience behaviors we've relied on to shape our strategies for decades. This has led us to the painful decision to move our closing earlier to Sunday, December 21st. So, yes, there isn't anything that explicitly says, oh, we're closing because Kristin Chenoweth seems to have MAGA views and all that. Right. Like, they're not going to come out and explicitly say that. And yes, I've seen that some other shows haven't been doing as great and all that. Right. But for context, the musical apparently cost a reported $22.5 million to make. My logic is that is a huge investment to try to close early.
Yeah.
They're claiming that it's because of early sales, right? So a lot of times, obviously, people get tickets for shows weeks in advance, and they're already seeing that ticket sales are just not great.
Yeah.
So they're just cutting their losses and trying to end it early. What I thought was interesting is the language that the producer said of, oh, we're no longer seeing the quote unquote audience behaviors that we've relied on.
Yes.
For me, I'd be curious to find out whether that behavior is politically motivated and whether they're now seeing political audiences reacting to politics and not attending shows or not going to see, artistic events or anything that have ties to MAGA.
Yeah.
So again, I'm acknowledging that speculation, but it's the timing of it all is real interesting. So if you weren't aware of like what it is that everyone's talking about here and what are the MAGA views, right? Because Kristin Chenoweth historically has been a big advocate for LGBTQ rights, seems to have been an ally in the past. I was actually very surprised when you told me, for example, about her, where I was like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
Because I thought that she was, cool. And I thought she was part of the crew or something. I don't know. But apparently not. So just looking at this, wrong thing. So let's remove these. Sorry, y'all. And okay. So looking at a YouTube from New York One, this is an interview that she had. So I have it paused here on purpose. So this is the post that started all the trouble for Kristin Chenoweth, right? I believe so. So she wrote on social media, quote, I'm so upset. Didn't always agree, but appreciated some perspectives. What a heartbreak. His young family, I know where he is now. Heaven, but still. Broken heart emoji. The person that she's talking about is Charlie Kirk.
That's why I laughed when we said heaven. It's like, okay.
So I also want to flag that she put, didn't always agree, but appreciated some perspectives.
What perspective?
Correct.
Kristin.
Right. So let's...
what?
So let's fast forward to, what was it? At 2:07, I believe. Right here. Okay, so this is a part of the interview that I just want to share with everyone.
Oh, goodness.
For context, the interviewer, because of copyright reasons, we can't obviously show as much. But for context, the interviewer just asked her specifically what was she hoping to convey with that post, the post we just saw, given the, quote, mixed reactions that she got from it, especially given that Charlie Kirk was against LGBTQ rights and she's been a longtime advocate for LGBTQ rights. So essentially the interviewer was like, hey, what was the game plan here? Like, what were you trying to do?
Oh, I'm sorry if emotion gets involved here. Forgive me.
Nice.
I saw what happened online with my own eyes, and I had a human moment of reflection just right then. I came to understand that my comment hurt some folks, and that hurt me so bad. I would never. It's no secret that that I'm a Christian, that I'm a person of faith. It's also no secret that I am an advocate for the LGBTQ plus community. And for some, that doesn't go together. But for me, it always has. And it always will. So.
Your first preview on Broadway.
That's it. I intentionally waited until he went to the next question because then he said, your first preview, they started talking about the show. That was very intentional on my part because I wanted to show, again, I am a fan. I like to to the extent that we can without having copyright issues, show the full spectrum and not take things out of context, right? Hey, Kristin, here's the stage again. Hey, and again, he asked very nicely. He said mixed reactions. He didn't even say, hey, people are coming at you because they think you're MAGA, which is what he should have said. But he didn't. He was, again, way too nice.
Yeah.
Just like the other reporter was with Sydney Sweeney. Hey, here's silver platter. Hey, you can address this.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm just so affected.
I'm a
Give me a
Christian.
moment. Oh
I'm
my
a
God. Oh no.
Christian. I'm a
I need to cry a little bit
from this question
because people know my heart, and that's what you really shouldn't say anything.
No,
Same thing.
same
And that's
thing.
why I wanted to bring this up, because people need to pay attention of what these actual supposed these aren't apologies. I don't know who's gaslit everyone who's watching this and be like, oh my God, that was an apology. Oh my God, they're so no, they're not.
This is why I wanted to do this to show, like, there is this same thing with Elon Musk and Tesla. We see it with Sydney Sweeney, Kristin Chenoweth. These people might have secretly been MAGA or whatever, or this thing, you know, or publicly, whatever. But they didn't understand that a lot of their money and their fan base came from liberals that they needed to own.
Exactly.
Who buys Tesla? People who are genuinely concerned about the environment and things like that, you know, who maybe on their everyday life weren't seeing who Elon Musk really was. Who loves theaters? A lot of, you know, LGBTQI members who maybe weren't fully in on who Kristin Chenoweth was. You know, a lot of people like Sydney Sweeney for aesthetic reason or whatever, and never really heard her speak her mind. You know what I mean? Whatever it may be. But once they have shown themselves, a lot of their fan base with money, who are at least loyal or spend money, you don't have to have like a lot of money. You know what I mean? People who are loyal to them are not going to be there because they don't realize how much of their fan base was these leftists that they have to own. Again, the fact that they didn't see that, it's idiotic.
But that's also, it's the ignorance that comes with that level of power and money that I do feel like some people reach a level where they just think they're invincible, and that's what happens. So the last person that fits this category is a personal heartbreak to me because I used to be a huge fan.
Same.
But good old Nicki Minaj, or Onika Tanya Mirage Petty, because that is her real name.
Whoa, you calling her in?
Not Onika trying to dance around for these fucking people. So in case you didn't know, Nicki Minaj is an immigrant from Trinidad. Immigrant from Trinidad, grew up in New York. Ironically, went to my same like middle school. Dude, like I'm beyond heartbroken by this.
She went to 210? Yeah.
Don't be. Why would you be throwing? Oh my God. Anyways, so moving on. The drama from her situation came from initially a repost. So Trump, in case you didn't know, made this post where he said Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I'm hereby making Nigeria a, quote, country of particular concern. But that is the least of it. When Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like it's happening in Nigeria, and then he puts a random ass stat, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide. No idea where. Something must be done. I'm asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House of Proportions Committee, to immediately look into this matter and report back to me. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. We stand ready, willing, and able to serve our great Christian population around the world. Donald J. Trump, president, like he's signing a letter.
He always does that.
So, and then she reposts this and writes on X, Nicki Minaj, reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. We live in a country where we can freely worship God. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion. We don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other. Numerous countries all around the world are being affected by this horror, and it's dangerous to pretend we don't notice. Thank you to the president and his team for taking this seriously. God bless every persecuted Christian. Let's remember to lift them up in prayer. Like, girl, what? Dude, like the way I was, like when I first saw that, I was like, since when are you like hella Christian?
I'm gonna give a quick little background. Quick. Do you have a little background on what's going on?
Well, no, I was just gonna talk smack about Nicki and pull up her dirty ass lyrics when she's talking about being a good old Christian woman. And meanwhile,
before you do that, real quick, Nigeria is seeing a lot of like the turmoil, and there are some
Mhm.
groups, some radical groups that are killing.
Oh no, yeah, I
people.
have stuff on
Do you
that.
know what I mean? Okay,
Yeah.
great. Not great, but
No,
like,
no.
but you know what I mean. But from the statistics, there are casualties on both sides.
Yes.
Nigeria is a very Muslim and Christian country.
Yes.
So, and actually, even those terrorist groups who are Islamic, quote unquote radicals, whatever, are killing other Muslims who are not as radical as them. So it's a very complicated thing. And Donald Trump, as always, is cherry picking because he doesn't really care about like Christians. He's just he's using Christianity as like, because he can't say I care about these black people. Do you know what I mean? So he has to say Christians. He doesn't really care that who they are. He's just using the Christianity as a placeholder to say that he's protecting something that needs to go. That's what it is. And Nicki Minaj is co-signing that shit.
Yeah. Meanwhile, and that's what's again so heartbreaking, that as an immigrant, you don't see the playbook being done right in front of you, that you are being used as a pawn. Because as we know, authoritarian regimes always look for a reason to invade other countries. And to claim that, to save Christianity, again, separation of church and state, I guess, is no longer a thing in the US. But apparently to save Christianity, the US now needs to invade Nigeria. When, to your point, yes, there's a lot of turmoil that's happening there. It's not specific to Christians. It's actually happening to also Muslims. And it's more about, it's a terrorist organization. And yes, a terrorist organization should not be causing turmoil and all that. But for you to try to manipulate the narrative to garner support and also use a black celebrity to try and have support from a minority perspective is manipulative and insane. And the fact that people don't see it, and you have people like Nicki Minaj, who again used to be a badass bitch in my perspective, used to talk all this smack, used to whatever, but now what? You're being used as a joke. What is happening?
Mm-hmm.
What is happening to all these different people that we used to like think were like, what is happening?
Mm-hmm.
So, so that I won't pull up the complex. I had this whole like, actually, I can watch just like real quick. So like, I had this. I had to remove this. So because I was like, there's no girl, like this is the same Nicki Minaj. I'm not gonna say these lyrics, but Complex put together super bass Nicki Minaj's dirtiest lines, and then this is a Complex article. I'm just gonna scroll through. This is the same person that's like, oh yeah, no, we need to now go because for the Christians and Christianity, and we got to save Christianity and all this stuff, right? We got to save it. Y'all reading this, right? We got to save Christianity, and now we got to invade this other because we got to save it, right, Nikki? No, you got to save it because this is what's this is
guys say we got to save Christianity.
We got to save Christianity.
Got that super soaker.
No. There is a reason why I'm not reading.
You just got me like the super soaker.
Okay, we don't take this off. You can't be allowed to.
Listen, we're not. By the way, not slut shaming. That's something I'm not.
Oh no,
doing.
that's not slut shaming.
Okay.
My point. No.
Okay.
No.
Just want to put that because you know how you say some people on the internet might think like never.
No.
I think she's allowed to say whatever the hell she wants, but come on, like that hypocrisy of what
my thing is, since when the hell have we known Nicki Minaj to be a good old Christian woman? Again, the timing of it all, and this is why we ask vital questions. Mm-hmm. The timing of it all, for all of a sudden for her to be like, "Oh my God, Christianity! Oh my God, religion!"
She's trying to remake herself.
Oh my God! I don't know if it's that. I don't know if the speculation online is that she's trying to get her guy or her brother free from jail.
Yeah.
There's also that speculation. I don't know the reason. I just think it's fucking ridiculous that everything that you built, you threw out the door for what?
For what?
Now you look like a whole puppet just being dragged around for their purposes, and now you're a joke.
You and that super sucker out there, just a joke.
So she reposted that thing, right? So like got a lot of attention. That is it's like, sorry, mad tech issues.
How you doing?
So she reposted that, right? And then after that repost, we got Ambassador, which I forgot that man is now ambassador of something, which was ridiculous. So Ambassador Mike Waltz.
Wasn't he the one from the Signal chat scandal?
Right. I think that's the same guy.
Yeah, he just got moved around. That's what they do.
Yeah. He retweeted or whatever that post from Nicki Minaj and goes, at Nicki Minaj, thank you for using your platform to speak out in defense of the Christians being persecuted in Nigeria. We cannot allow this to continue. Every brother and sister of Christ must band together and say enough. If you ever find yourself in New York, come by the U.S. Embassy to the United Nations. I would love to speak with you in more depth about what our administration is doing to protect Christians' freedom all over the world. And sure enough, somehow she got to the United Nations and was put on a podium to speak about this issue, even though she's not Nigerian. Even I'm just trying to see the correlation.
All right.
Other than the fact that this is a celebrity and she's black, and
let me hold my judgment for the speech.
Okay.
Let's listen to like 20 seconds of it.
Sure.
30.
Oh, hold on. Just realized the sound wasn't on.
Okay. They always want respectability when we're saying, Nicki, you're being an idiot.
Right, like it's and the whole we don't have to have the same beliefs. No, Nicki, you were encouraging them to go into Nigeria and take over everything for I'm pretty sure oil reasons as well. Like I'm pretty sure there's like or cobalt, minerals. That's what it is.
Think of it as minerals. Yeah, it's always minerals.
It's there's always some excuse. And again, as an immigrant, you would think that you would be better versed in that, but of course not.
No.
So, looking at a PBS News article entitled "Trump Says Christians Are Being Persecuted in Nigeria," experts and residents say the reality is more complicated. So it's kind of what you were hinting at earlier, right? Just reading from that article. But many insist the reality isn't as simple as Trump's narrative, which casts Christianity as facing a quote existential threat in Nigeria. Experts and residents say some attacks target Christians, but most emphasize in the widespread violence that has long plagued the West African nation. Everyone is a potential victim, regardless of background or belief. They don't ask you whether you are a Muslim or a Christian. 32-year-old, I'm going to butcher his name. I'm not going to try.
Abdul Malik
Saidu said to the gunman regularly stalking his northwestern state.
It's a set of the gunmen regularly stalking his northwestern state. That's just a regular occurrence in his life.
Yeah. All they want is just money from you. Even if you have money, sometimes they will kill you. So we're talking about.
And by the way, he's a Muslim man,
right? And we're talking about terrorism. We're not talking about Christians are being it's terrorist organizations that are
hurting people,
need to be addressed. And yes, if the U.S. wants to work with the Nigerian government to address this and provide aid in that way. Sure, but is that what's being discussed? No,
that's exactly what the Nigerian government said. They're like, we will work with you. You can come in. We do joint tactics. But no, they want to use this to depose the government.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. If we're hearing nothing from the Trump administration about being like, I met with the Nigerian president. I met with the government there.
No.
We have this game plan. If that's what was being played out, then sure.
It's using Nicki Minaj at the UN to spread a message of intervention.
Exactly.
Nicki.
And this is what this woman is doing. Like, what are you doing? So it's been ever since then, she's been posting a lot of things in support of MAGA and support of Trump. Most recently, I think it was yesterday. Just pulling up a Rolling Stone article. JD Vance pledges allegiance to Nicki Minaj over Cardi B in rap feud, because what timeline are we even living in right now? The subtitle says, quote, Nicki over Cardi. Vance, who is 41 years old and the vice president of the United States, wrote in a quote reply to a since deleted post from Minaj. Because of course, right? So just reading from the article, in an X post, the politician made his feelings on the rivalry clear by simply writing Nicki over Cardi. Vance's message comes in response to one of the Queen of Rap's posts. Queen of Rap is short, which has since been deleted. Fan screenshots, however, show that Minaj had shared a photo of Chucky from the Child's Play franchise and written Vance over Rants, which aligns with other posts that are still up on her account at press time. So just really quick looking at it. So this is how the post actually looks like as of yesterday's screenshot when I had a chance to screenshot it. So you see Nicki over Cardi, right? This is from X. This is JD Vance's post. It says this post is unavailable. Well, luckily the internet is undefeated and people have taken screenshots. So this was the original post. So she put this over a picture of Chucky, Vance over Vance, and he responded with Nicki over Cardi, because what are we even talking about? What I think is hilarious is that as I was looking for stuff, Nicki back in the day used to be against MAGA, because irony of ironies, she had a post against Tomi Lahren back in 2019 when Tomi Lahren said, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ICE agents ready to deport ya. And Nicki Minaj responded to that and said, "Your obsession with our culture is scary to say the least. I hate giving you the attention you so desperately crave. Laughing at people getting deported as if your ancestors discovered America. Are you Native American, you fucking clown?" She posted that February 4th, 2019. How the mighty have fucking fallen.
Oh my God, how we have lost
Nicki
people
Minaj,
that
as a
we-
former fan of yours, I am beyond heartbroken, but
Yeah.
all good.
And that's the thing. Sure, she'll still be able to move a few albums and stuff like that, but when you lose fans that are yours like that, you're not going to sell the arenas again.
Well, and that's what's funny, because she is actually coming out with a new album March 27th of next year.
Let's see.
So I'm really interested to see how those numbers do. But
Mm-hmm.
I am also, candidly, I'm also afraid, not afraid, but like that's way too strong of a word. It also sucks because I do think people are so overwhelmed with all the politics and everything that's been happening that I don't know if people are going to remember this, right? In the same way that, again, Snoop and Nelly did those performances, but they're still getting invited out to different things. They perform for MAGA, but they're still getting invited out, and there was no real repercussions for them. So
I know I don't listen to any Nelly songs.
and again, it's not about trying to talk crap about like minorities or Black people, because by no means are we trying to do that. If anything, we're trying to hold people accountable that are profiting from the culture that they are now trying to promote decimation on.
Yeah.
So that's what's actually happening, before we get some slack in the comments about like, oh, you guys are going after. No.
Yeah.
It's y'all should also, right? Like,
you know, and that's actually really good. This is a good way for us to protect ourselves too, because why would the gay community come out and support a movie like Sydney Sweeney when she is aligning herself with a group that wants gay people decimated? I'm not gonna go give you money so you can continue decimating it. Why am I gonna go and spend a lot of money on seeing Kristin Chenoweth on Broadway when she cares more about Charlie Kirk's life than mine? No. Why would I give you my money?
And double down on those comments when given the opportunity to speak on them.
Why would you make anybody rich that wants you dead?
Right. I mean,
well, essentially, somebody told me when they talk about having relationships with somebody who's like MAGA, they're like, you can't be in a relationship with someone who says they love you, but they want to see you destroy systemically.
Yes.
That is not a real relationship. Oh, I love you, but I don't want you to be able to vote.
Right.
I don't want you to be able to live comfortably.
Right.
I don't want you to be able to breathe and feel comfortable in your own skin.
Right.
Then how do you love me?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
It's infatuation, obsession. It's not love.
Yep. Something to ponder, because that's where we're going to leave you on a bright note.
That's right.
So
remember, there are repercussions. Like I said, there might not be the legal ramifications that we all hope these people will be facing for breaking laws and things like that. But one thing that they always said is like, well, there's a free market and the free market don't like it. And now they're mad that the free market is responding to their bullshit and they don't like it.
Exactly. So, so those were our topics for today. Let us know if you like this format, because we do plan on every so often doing this kind of thing of, again, not doing a crazy deep dive, but just some stuff that kind of came into play and we're like, oh, this is interesting. Want to talk about it. So just let us know if you like this format. Let us know some thoughts. Let us know if you're like, nah, Nicki, just was temporarily insane, but she's back. I don't know.
and anything that we may have missed, again, we always invite you to send in via, Substack or YouTube or whatever. Just send your comments in and we will we'll do another episode. Maybe like, oh, we didn't cover this, we didn't cover that. Or maybe at the top of the next episode, do a little corrections and omissions section.
Right.
Because we always want to bring you the facts.
But again, if you come with facts, please cite your sources.
Yeah. Don't be coming like, you don't know nothing. Well, tell me something.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's everything for this week. Anything else, co-host?
Nope. That's it. Thanks for listening, y'all.
Hey, thank you so much. We will see y'all next time. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.